The UFC, is starting to look. The future looks kind of bleak, in my opinion. What I mean by that is it just looks kind of boring. There's not much going on. Like there's fights, but the cards aren't that good. The Adesanya Imavov coming up this week's like the last good card I think we're getting for a couple weeks actually. Adesanya Imavov, solid main event. Shara MVP, Sir Pavlovich versus Rosenstrike. Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira, Ikram, like you get it. This is a decent fight card, like overall, especially for a fight night. Like it's a pretty solid fight card, but outside of this, like Strickland Duplessis 2, this card is terrible. It's literally I saw Lucas Tracy's video. He said it's a Apex card with a title fight main event, and I tend to agree. Look at this main card. This is you're paying for this. I if you choose to, but this is insane. Jake Matthews, Jimmy Crute, and Justin Tafa all on the main card of a pay per view in 2025, and it's a women's title fight as a co-main, so nobody cares. Leaving us DDP Strickland, and the undercard is all right. Like Borishev's always gonna have a good fight. This is more deserving of a main card spot than some of the fights on there. But like, damn, this is a really bad fight card overall. We move on to the candidate. Like this should never be a main event ever. And like this is not a good card. Like these cards are terrible. And it's a very common theme. Cedo versus Song Yadong. Like it's decent for a fight night. It's actually not that bad for a fight night. It's actually pretty decent for a fight night. But like, why is this card better than a pay per view? This card is so much better than the Strickland Duplessis card. It's insane. Then we have Royval Cap. I don't think they have a card built for this yet. Oh no, they pretty much have a full card built. Maybe not in order, but like yeah, man. This one they're not gonna have. They only have two fights and they're good. I mean these are all right, but overall like these we're not getting great product from the UFC overall, is what I'm trying to say. And I could just sit here and shit in the UFC all day if I really wanted to, but that's not what we're gonna do. Instead, we're gonna try to help them out. Give Dana some constructive criticism, and you know, yeah, just try to throw some ideas out there that might be beneficial to the UFC. So, without further ado, I have my classic PowerPoint presentation ready. And yeah, how to improve the UFC 2025. Gerwin MMA Productions brings it to you. There's me on the right. I am Dana White for the day. So, step one: no more Apex main events. I mean, not main events, just Apex cards in general. It's just an excuse to put on weaker cards. Like if you the Gregory Rodriguez versus Jared Cannonier fight card, that should never happen. That should not be a main event of anything. Not even an Apex card. This should be like the co-main event of an Apex card, being like generous. Like there's no hype for Apex fights ever. Nobody goes, oh, I can't wait. Like the way we are for this weekend with the Adesanya fight card. Nobody says that on an Apex card ever. The Apex was great for COVID. Made do with what you had, what you could do, but it's not COVID anymore. We are not in a pandemic, so you can get the hell out of the Apex. Use it for the Contender Series only and tough. It's good for those things, but we don't need it now. We could just go find venues to have, even if you have to cut back on the amount of cards per year by like 3 or 4. I'd rather get better quality than just straight quantity, because these Apex events are terrible, and you just distribute rank contenders to make weaker pay per views like we're seeing this upcoming, within the next 2 weeks. So yeah, get the hell out of the Apex. Step one should have been doing this. Dana keeps saying every year that they're not going back and they're done, but they keep going back. Moving on to step two, pick rightful number one contenders. Now, Aspinall should have gotten the title fight over Stipe. Marab should have been the title fight over Cheeto or Sandhagen. Like Cheeto just shouldn't have gotten it when he got it. Ankalaev should have gotten the title shot over Roundtree. These are just a few examples. There's probably more that I'm not thinking of right now. But it's just so annoying when the number one contender isn't fighting the champion because it doesn't just less hype. It doesn't feel like a real title defense, and you're making some other like you're making Ankalaev go fight friggin' what's his name Rakic. Aspinall had to go fight Blades to defend his interim belt. Marab went ahead and fought Henry Cejudo when he didn't need to. It's like all these stupid fights that don't need to happen start to happen, and they're just filler fights that we know the result of because you don't want that contender to lose. Like you don't want any of these guys on the left to lose because you need them to be able to fight the champion. But you're giving these guys on the right to the champion when they don't necessarily deserve it. So it's just it's always a shitty situation when somebody that gets a title shot doesn't deserve it, and somebody that should get it goes and fights somebody else on an undercard of a pay per view because it takes away from everybody in the end. It takes away from these guys on the left having to go fight a useless fight, and it takes away from the champion just defending against a fucking scrub that they you know they're gonna beat. Like all these three in the right, they never had a chance to beat the champion, but the UFC gave them that shot versus the people on the left, and we already saw Marab pull it off. So Aspinall Ankalaev, we shall see. But yeah, so just pick the rightful contender. That's very easy. I can't believe this is a point I have to try to make here. Is that Dana should be matching up the number one contenders? It's insane. But yeah, that's step two. Moving on to step three. Have a wider pool of prospects. They dial in on just single prospects like a Peyton Talbot and a Raul Rosas, and now when they lose, it's just all the hype is dead. Like no, and Peyton Talbot getting a haircut. Never do that again. Go back to your old hair, brother. This is not it. I know Raul Rosas bounced back against the almighty Ricky Tercios. You know the demon that is Ricky Tercios. But yeah, there's not many unranked. I say no. I'm exaggerating a little bit. There are not many unranked prospects other than like some fighting nerds where I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. I think they're gonna cause some problems when they get to the top. It's just I don't get it. Um, and they dial in on these guys and they're going all in and they're trying to find their next big name, but these guys keep losing because they keep pushing them and keep shielding them. And yeah, no fighters are breaking through to the rankings either, which is a problem. Like, and I feel like anytime I see somebody try to fight their way into the rankings, they lose. Paddy Pimblett was able to get into the rankings, but other than him, I guess Prates was, but yeah, that's it. I'm really, oh man, I'm really trying to think of anybody else, but I can't think of names of fighters that are breaking into the rankings right now on the come up. Like I really can't. I mean, they're getting their shots sometimes, but they're just not doing it, and it's kind of annoying when at the top of divisions like lightweight when it's Oliveira, Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler. They're all just fighting each other. Like none of them. We saw Poirier give BSD and Gaethje give Fiziev a shot. But other than that, it's like these guys are just all fighting the top of the top all the time. They're not letting anybody get a chance to take that next step. And yeah, so that UFC needs to work on that too. But it's mainly just you got to have a wider pool of prospects. Try to build up more people at once. And you have Bo Nickel, but you're moving him so slow. It's like ridiculous. There's a fine balance. Push some people too fast, and they push others way too slow. And yeah, that's step three. Just have a wider pool of prospects to get fans to get bought into. Step four, judging needs to be addressed. Now, I know Dana doesn't have control of this, it's the athletic commissions, but Dana has to have a serious talk with the athletic commissions on like trying to find a way to get better judging because just take a look at these two scorecards. In both of these scorecards, Volkov won 29-28, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, many others, including Dana White himself. And Rinat Fakhnadirov, I don't think he won a single round and one judge gave it 3-0 Renat, which is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Of course, it was Heidi Muhammad Ali and the fucking Saudi Arabia, or wherever the fuck they were. Stupid ass place. Um, it was in the UAE. It was Abu Dhabi. But like these type of scorecards cannot happen now. I know Carlos Leao juiced to the gill. That dude, as Chael Sonnen would say, more juice than Tropicana. That dude had backed me for days, the size of a fucking ox. But Gon Volkov, that fight was terribly judged. But the problem with these type of robberies is, if you look at my point, entire divisions getting screwed and held up due to bad judging. Example is the Gon Volkov fight, because Volkov wins. He is next in line for a title shot to fight the winner of Aspinall and Jones. And now Gon, who's already lost to Jones, he lost to Ngannou, doesn't really deserve a fight with Aspinall. If Aspinall were to beat Jones, it's like, what do you do now? If you're at heavyweight, because you're gonna throw Volkov in there anyway, because he won, he deserves it, but he's coming off a loss. It's just like it just ruins things when stupid shit like this happens and judges are incompetent. But yeah, that's just something Dana White can maybe talk to the athletic commissions about. Maybe trying to find a way to get more accurate judging. But yeah, moving on to step 5, better media. Press conferences are terrible. Here I have some of the better moments of the year. Ronaldo Rodriguez, he was yelling a word that I will not dare repeat on here so early into my feeble YouTube journey. But yeah, and also Manel Cat, he dropped it too, but he did that at the post-fight like the on the mic after the fight, and he's arguing with Adesanya. Ronaldo Rodriguez is crashing the fuck out on stage. But the press conferences now, it's the same people asking the same questions to the same fighters. Like, I don't know how many more times I tune in because I see a press conference going on. I have time, so I press on it, and it's, hey man, how does it feel to be here in Australia? How does it feel? How does it feel to be here in LA? How does it feel to be in Chicago? Like, it fucking. How does it feel coming to London? What have you? Where have you been around here? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Like, we need people to start stirring up beef. We need the reporters to stir up beef. Get the fighters to get angry at each other. So there's some motive in these fights. We'll get some more knockouts. But yeah, man, these press conferences suck. There's little to no beef ever. And when there is, it's cringy as fuck because it's forced, like Adesanya forcing beef on people. But like a Dricus versus Strickland beef, that's real. You don't need reporters for. But the reporters got to stir the pot, man. Like, it's just so boring now. Like, the only exciting part of Fight Week now are the fights. Like, Embedded's even boring because it's just people following people around track. It's just like, oh, here's a meal I got going. Oh, look, we're going to this museum today. We're gonna go look at this waterfall today. Like, it's just a daily vlog. It's not contributing to promoting the fight in the slightest. So yeah, we need better media coverage for UFC. It's terrible now. The best we have is MMA Guru, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But MMA Guru's not the mainstream media. He's the YouTube media. He's the social media, like YouTube incel. I'm not incel, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like the hardcore fans like MMA Guru. But the general public looks at the press conference. The general public looks at promo videos, and when it's just you need a better job at it, plain and simple. Moving on to step 6, which I believe is my final step. More activity. Ranked fighters are just not fighting. Like, you have Leon Edwards. He maybe gets 2 fights in a year if you're lucky. John Jones has defended the title he won February of 2023 one time. I get he was injured, but 2 full years is insanity. He was going to be out for like fucking 10 months or 9 months before he got hurt to fight Stipe the first time. Like, it's insane, dude. Um, but yeah, ranked fighters. If every ranked fighter fought twice a year, that's 128 ranked fights per year. That's about, I think it came out to like 3.6 ranked fights per card per year, so I rounded up to 4. That's about 4 ranked fights per card per year, and that's if everybody fought the minimum twice. And that's only men, so that's not even counting women's ranked fighters, which would skyrocket that number probably. Not skyrocket, we didn't get it higher. But yeah, like I don't understand. Your job is to fight. Get your ass out there and fight. It's not that fucking hard. Especially if you're ranked and you're close to a title. Get out there, go fight some contenders, and get yourself to that title. Like it's ridiculous that I have to sit here and plead Dana to make these guys fight more, even though it's their job. But yeah, I believe that's all my steps. Yeah, it is. So yeah, I that's my steps for fixing the UFC to make it less boring. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see you in the. Oh wait, follow my social media at Gerwin MMA on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I don't really post that much in any of them. I post my pics, like the picture of my pics on Instagram, and sometimes I will, shout out the videos. I'll probably shout this one out on my story. But yeah, that's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you would do differently with the UFC. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.